Is the sanctity of the courtroom being weaponized, or is this simply the rule of law being enforced exactly where it needs to be? A federal judge in New York has just sent a shockwave through the Trump administration's immigration strategy, effectively tying the hands of ICE agents at Manhattan courthouses in a ruling that has sent shockwaves through the legal and political community. Before we continue, if you want to stay on top of everything happening in U.S. politics, hit that subscribe button right now and leave a like. It really helps this channel grow and keeps us bringing you the latest updates on these critical legal battles. The situation centers on a massive legal reversal. Just months ago, U.S. District Judge Kevin Castile declined to halt the Trump administration's policy of conducting civil immigration arrests at courthouses. But this Monday, that stance did a total 180. Judge Castile largely blocked ICE from continuing these arrests in Manhattan, forcing the agency to revert to the much narrower, more restrictive policies that existed under the Biden administration. Why the sudden change? It turns out the government, specifically the Department of Justice, made a catastrophic error. In court, lawyers for the government had originally defended the policy by claiming a specific May 2025 ICE memo provided the legal justification for these courthouse operations. However, in a stunning admission this past March, those same lawyers had to tell the court they were wrong. They admitted they had made a material mistaken statement of fact. The government later acknowledged that the guidance they relied on to defend these arrests does not and has never applied to immigration courts. Judge Castile didn't mince words. He stated that this admission of error justified revisiting his previous ruling, noting that it was necessary to correct a clear error and prevent what he called a manifest injustice. Now, let's look at the human element of this story. Immigrant advocacy groups have been fighting this tooth and nail. They argued that the administration's policies essentially turned mandatory immigration hearings where people are supposed to be seeking legal status into a trap. According to their filings, migrants were being detained by ICE agents the moment they stepped out of court proceedings. For these advocates, the courthouse is a place for justice, not a location for targeted enforcement. But what does this actually mean for the broader political landscape? First, it's a significant blow to the administration's aggressive zero-tolerance enforcement efforts. It demonstrates that even with a change in executive policy, the judiciary remains a massive hurdle. The judge's ruling doesn't mean ICE is completely sidelined, though. He was very clear that this is a temporary block while a broader lawsuit proceeds. ICE is still allowed to conduct arrests if there are national security threats, instances of imminent violence, hot pursuit situations, or if there is a risk of tampering with criminal evidence. However, the political optics are undeniable. This ruling is being hailed as a major victory by groups like the New York Civil Liberties Union. Amy Belcher, their director of immigrants' rights litigation, called it an enormous win for non-citizens trying to navigate the system. On the flip side, proponents of stricter enforcement will likely see this as judicial overreach, a way for federal judges to dictate how and where law enforcement can do their jobs. This brings us to the core of the debate. Are we looking at a necessary protection of the legal system, or is this an example of the courts creating a safe haven that undermines the ability of the executive branch to secure the nation? We are seeing a clash between the power of the White House to set immigration policy and the fundamental right to due process in an American courtroom. As this lawsuit grinds forward, keep your eyes on how the administration responds. Will they try to draft new, more bulletproof guidance to bypass this ruling, or will they take this to the appellate courts? And more importantly, how will this influence similar cases across the country? So, what do you think about this? Do you believe immigration courts should be completely off limits for arrests to ensure everyone has access to justice, or should federal agents be allowed to enforce the law wherever they find individuals in violation of immigration statutes? Drop your opinion in the comments below. I read every single one, and I want to know where you stand on this volatile issue. The legal battle over the border and enforcement is far from over. As we see today, even the highest levels of government can stumble over their own paperwork, and the courts are clearly watching every move. Stay tuned, because as this case develops, we will be right here to break down exactly what it means for the country. Thanks for watching.